Yeah, I can see you. Hold on. Awesome. That's sick. That's sick. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get you up. What's up, Habibi? How you doing?
Good, good. I'm doing good, man.
Dude, we've been talking for a very long time. I just wanted to say, big fan of like, first off, I want to promote your aid network. Go support my man's aid network right now.
Yeah, so
The Abu Huraira
we
Aid Network is a grassroots, people-owned effort delivering direct aid to displaced families in Gaza and Sudan with revolutionary solidarity and care. Support us so that we can keep showing up where the world has turned its back. 1,000%. Go help them.
Thank you, man. The Abu Huraira Aid Network, we just try to get money to our teams, our volunteers' hands in Sudan and Gaza and different areas so that they can get groceries and food and aid for people because some people don't even have access to the internet. They can't even like post their own campaigns or get food that way. So we just try to find anybody that we can help that isn't able to get it that we can help that way. Yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I want to tell you, I already had someone on to talk about Sudan. There's a chat. I think there's a streamer by the name of Asdif that is Sudani that was
Right.
gracious enough to come on and actually tell us a lot about Sudan. I have a rough timeline of how we basically got to where we are in Sudan with, I believe, the world's largest humanitarian crisis going on at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
That is being extremely underreported at the moment. And I believe there was some recent atrocity that the RSF was the Rapid Support Forces led by Hemeti that they were committing in El Fasher, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the situation in Sudan right now? All right, just if you could start off with that, and how are things developing? Is Khartoum back under SAF control, or is it still being contested at the moment?
Okay, so Khartoum is fully under SAF control for the first time since April 2023.
Okay,
So when the
awesome.
war started, right, it's been contested ever since. The first places they attacked were like the RSF, the palace and the airport and stuff like that. And you know that's the capital city and like the state. So it was took over Omdurman and there was just a lot of fighting in the streets. But actually just like the other day, first civilian flight just landed at the airport in Khartoum since the beginning of the war. So it's starting to, they're coming back to the rebuilding process and stuff. But now the focus has shifted to Kordofan and to Darfur. So El Fasher is in Darfur, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, basically what the RSF is doing is they're currently engaging in settler colonialism against the native indigenous people of Darfur, which is like for Masalid, Zaghawa, like those sorts of people. That's what they're engaging
Yes.
in. And
Yeah.
Hemeti is not even from his family's not even
Sudan.
from Sudan. He's from the
He's from
neighboring
Chad.
country, Chad.
Yeah. Basically, they come in these like Arab African tribes, from other like surrounding countries like Central African Republic. They'll be in some close to South Sudan, in Chad, in some come from Ethiopia, right? Some are just mercenaries, but a lot of them like they consider themselves, superior to the people who live in Darfur. So they think if they create enough violence for them that they'll run away, because they're civilians, and then they bring in their families from those other countries and they move into their houses. They were doing in Khartoum too until they got kicked out. Like they just come and take your house and they'll bring their family from another country and they'll just take it over. It seems like they were trying to they were trying to announce an emirate in Darfur, like a Islamic state, just
Oh,
like
we
an
got a
Arab.
raid. Sorry. Who raided us?
Yeah.
Oh, Asdif, thank you. We got the Sudan raid actually, because the Asdif is free Sudan, free Sudan, free Sudan, free Sudan, 100% free Sudan from the madness that is the RSF and their war crimes against the indigenous people of Darfur and other indigenous people of Sudan, like Nubians and so on and so forth. All right, continue. Sorry, we just got the raid, and I wanted to acknowledge that.
So basically, like the situation right now specifically is just imagine like all of Darfur, like they took it over, right? And like that's the only state that they have left, basically, that they have fully taken over. And then there's El Fasher, and El Fasher is the only one that's left that's not under RSF control. So it's basically just the last part, and they just really, really want it. And they've tried. I think this week was like attempt 231 since April 2024. So they've tried 231 times to take over one city and they just couldn't. Every time they try, they just get their ass beat and they get pushed back. But that's why they're trying to starve them right now. Like that's
But
the
El
tactic.
Fasher is not under RSF control. It's under SAF
It's
control.
not.
It's under
Yeah.
SAF control, but
Yes.
it's in Darfur, which
Right.
is majority under RSF control. Okay.
All of it. Like the
All
rest of it.
everything but El Fasher in Darfur is under RSF control. And
Yes, exactly.
so, okay, for all the people in the chat that don't know, I mean, I have an understanding of who RSF is. I have an understanding of who SAF is. Let's start from what's his name, Omar al Bashir, right? It
Right.
goes further back than that, but just a quick understanding of who Omar al Bashir is and how we get to basically, this falling out between Burhan and Hemeti.
Connected. Yeah.
Burhan is the leader of the SAF, basically the Sudanese army, and then
Right.
the RSF is the successor of the Janjaweeds, which we'll also have to explain as well. And the
Yes.
Janjaweeds, they were already committing a genocide against the indigenous people of Darfur back in like the 90s and the 2000s. If you could give us a good explanation of, first off, who the Janjaweeds are, how we get from Janjaweeds to RSF, and basically the political timeline of how we get to first Omar al-Bashir, and then from Omar Bashir, we get this power struggle between Hemeti and Burhan, and we get basically what we're seeing in Sudan right now.
So there was this former president of Sudan, dictator, Ahmad Bashir, right? He was running a military dictatorship, military leadership of the country. Like it's like a junta like led thing, right? So that military is the SAF. So technically, when you think the SAF, like you think these people are also running the entire country. Like even with Ahmad Bashir, like he was the face, right? But that establishment is who's running the country. And a lot of what's happened in Sudan over the last few years has been about them not wanting to not run the country anymore. Like obviously they want to stay in power. A lot of the civilians in Sudan want to transition to civilian rule, and both parties, the RSF and the SAF, have both been like sabotaging that because that would be bad for both their plans. So Ahmed Bashir, he was facing some rebellion from Darfur in the early 2000s. I mean, late 90s, early 2000s, and there were these Arab African tribes in the area in the desert in Darfur or coming from Chad or like those kind of areas, and he saw that they were always fighting with like cross-border fighting, and they were already armed. So he basically outsourced fighting this rebellion, or crushing the entire civilian population so they don't rebel again, to the Janjaweed. The Janjaweed just literally means in Sudanese Arabic devil on horseback, because they would come in on horseback and like burn an entire village and do things of the sort. So basically, the Darfur genocide was just the Sudanese government and Omar al-Bashir outsourcing ethnic cleansing and outsourcing like punishing civilians for the actions of militants and whatnot. This group, because they did so quote unquote good in that situation, did really good ethnic cleansing for him. So he brought them in to basically become his protectors, right? And during 2019, when the people finally rose up against Omar al-Bashir in the Sudanese revolution, he was using the RSF to like shoot at them and to like throw tear gas at the civilians and to like do stuff. So they became his protectors. Like that's why they were even still around. They were the Janjaweed for years. In 2013, they became the RSF, and they basically became parallel to the army. In 2015, the UAE and the Saudi-led coalition had Sudan send the RSF into Yemen to help them with that too. So they have mercenary experience. Like they've also been sent into Libya to help the UAE. So the RSF was already like cooking up with the UAE beforehand. Like by being mercenaries for them, they were showing them that they could do the work. Eventually, the RSF sees in after the 2019 incident that like Ahmed Bashir was gonna fall. It was inevitable. Like people were gonna like overthrow him. So they like joined the civilian side last second. They're like, yeah, no, we're with you guys. Let's overthrow him. Come on, as it's happened in many countries. Like we've seen this before. So then they have this like fake civilian transition government thing with this guy named Hamdouk. He was like leader for a while. It was supposed to be like transition from military rule to civilian rule. Didn't happen. Hemeti and Burhan teamed up and they overthrew him. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll transition to military rule. I mean to civilian rule, whatever. Just give us some time. Like we need a plan. We need a thing like that. One of the things Burhan really wanted was to integrate the RSF into the army because he was worried about that. And the army is the SAF. So SAF is just Sudanese armed forces. RSF is just rapid support forces. I don't even know what that means. Like they just made that up. Seriously. He wanted to integrate them into the army because he saw them as a threat, amongst other things. He also Burhan was first in command, and second command was Hemeti of the government, of the transitional one. A lot of things. So Hemeti just tried to coup Burhan in April of 2023, and that's what started all this. It was supposed to be like a clean coup, and then it was just done in a day, and it just didn't work out that way, and now they've just been fighting since. That's like the main narrative, which is like it's civil war and they're fighting amongst themselves and there's a power sharing struggle. But really what's happening is the UAE just pushed, like they pushed them to do that. They needed Sudan in instability, and they needed it to be always fighting. And also they're smuggling out 99% of Sudan's gold right now, which is a lot, to the UAE for free, basically. Like Houthi already had one gold mine, and then the rest of it they're just like smuggling it out through, because it's there's conflict, there's no standing government right now, like there's no intelligence, there's no police, there's no border control. They're just smuggling whatever they can out into the UAE, and even to the point where they were going into like a museum with all the old Nubian stuff, like I'm talking about like 150,000 years old artifact, and then we'd find it on Facebook Marketplace like 2 weeks after they'd raid the museum, like stuff like that. Like they're pulling the copper wires out of the wall that is to them. Like they're literally trying to, like they come into people's houses, right? And they'll take your diploma from high school. They'll take your prayer mat that you pray on. They'll take, like if they find like a really nice clay water container, they'll take it from you for no reason. They're like, if you're driving and you're trying to escape the village, they'll literally stop you, take your car, and just make you walk. And then they'll take the car and just either strip it for parts or send it to Chad to be like sold for cheap. These people are like, there's no serious military strategy going on with the RSF. There's no command structure.
Is a bunch of thugs. Like
it's literally
it's
like
a bunch
like
of it's a bunch of like, we call them like goons. Like it's a bunch of thugs. That's basically it.
bro, that's what it is. Like they'll come into a village and they'll do something, right? And then the leaders of that brigade will come in and be like, "We are so sorry. Like they weren't supposed to do that." No military structure, like that doesn't happen, right? Like they're literally just, it's a bunch of mercenaries. Some of them are even from Colombia now. Like they're from different countries. They just pay them, and they're like, "Listen, man, like you see stuff you like, just take it."
I heard there were
like,
Russian. I heard there were Russians in this as well. Like there were members of what's it called?
Wagner.
Wagner. Thank you. There was
Yeah,
Wagner. There were Wagner guys in here as well.
yeah, they're Wagner guys helping the RSF because for the gold, right? And then there's Ukrainians who came in to fight the Wagner guys because why not, right? So it's literally like 6 different conflicts around the world are just carrying stuff out in Sudan, like their beef.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the RSF is one. They're committing, horrific crimes against the indigenous, people of Sudan. They're committing heinous crimes against all Sudanese people, and they're also looting the damn country. Okay, so the UAE is obviously backing the RSF here. Are there any other countries that, I mean, obviously Israel is not directly backing the RSF, if I'm not mistaken. They don't really have to in this case. It's the fact that their proxy, the UAE, is doing it.
Right, and that's kind of crazy because like even that, like we don't know if it was Israel gave UAE weapons and then the UAE gave them to the RSF, but we did see more than once Israeli like LAR 160s, which is like the like the tube launchers
Yep.
being used by the RSF, like very clearly, like those are made by Israel, so they might be directly arming them too as well, which is
Which I don't think there's much to be said there. I mean, there's not much to be said there. Israel loves selling weapons to everyone. I mean, I generally have a lot of optimism for the situation in Sudan. I think things are going to improve a lot soon, hopefully. Inshallah, I hope they like improve a lot. Janjaweeds used to work for the Sri Lankan Sudanese government, and then they were basically the paramilitary for the Sudanese government, the SAF rather. They basically they committed genocide in Darfur really well. And that how long has Omar al-Bashir been in power until 2019? Before 2019, how long had he been in power?
Like 30 years or 30 plus years.
Oh, so he's a dictator. He's been in power.
Oh, he's a dictator. Yeah.
No, he's a dictator. Okay.
It's long-term situation. Yeah.
So like very similar, like Hosni Mubarak, basically.
They were like twin dictators. Like they were right next to, like they were running parallel plays at the same time.
1989 to 2019. So basically Hosni Mubarak. Exactly. Okay. So he's satisfied at the fact that the Janjaweeds did a very good genocide. So then he basically promotes the Janjaweeds to RSF, to this new title called RSF. And then Omar al-Bashir gets thrown out in a revolution by a people's revolution in 2019. And now there's basically like you said, the Sudanese army tries to incorporate the RSF. Hemeti says no, and things start devolving from there. And
Right. Right.
immediate like they start devolving, and RSF basically starts getting. I mean, they've like prior to this they've done tours in Libya, Yemen, and I guess they did it against the Houthis, right? They did it against Ansar Allah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they did tours in Yemen against Ansar Allah. I guess I don't know what they did in Libya. Like
They were just support for Haftar, like the LNA. So yeah, so this is just like the UAE has the mercenaries of South Yemen who are fighting Ansar Allah there, right? Carrying out their whole mission over there. They have the LNA, which is I think the Libyan National Army, something. I think that's what the N stands for, which is basically led by this another warlord, same named Haftar. He's holding East Libya at the moment, right? He's backed by the UAE, and you even know because whenever like that's been a new method to bring in stuff was through and people was through Libya. Like they'll bring in weapons and they'll bring in the Colombian mercenaries through Libya. They'll come in through the east of Libya and come all the way to the border of Sudan. And then now Haftar's militia helped the RSF take over that tri-border area between Libya and Sudan and Egypt. Yeah, they just run that whole area. So they're definitely working with each other like back and forth. It's all under the UAE umbrella,
okay,
basically.
so UAE is basically the ones that are pulling the strings here for the RSF. Okay.
Yes.
So what is UAE's end goal here? They want Sudan to be like a vassal state or something. What is their end goal here? Why? Or is it they just want to cause as much destruction as possible?
They wanna cause chaos. It seems like their strategy has shifted multiple times since this has started, right? Because I don't think like I think at one point they were hopeful to have the RSF as a parallel state that eventually takes over all of Sudan, right? They're trying to do that. They announced it in Kenya that they want their own government and stuff like that. I think they've also seen that they're very undisciplined and they're like not a real army. Like they're very much just terrorists, you know. Like now it just seems like just keep Sudan unstabilized. Maybe we can balkanize it. I think that's another thing they're trying to do. Like maybe cut off Darfur and make it its own thing just for the RSF. They just want the land. They want part of the land because it's very fertile. Like you know, the UAE's in the desert. They don't really have like places for food production like that. But Sudan is very, very fertile. Like they, one of their main targets earlier before the SAF kicked them out was the Al Jazeera scheme, which is the agricultural scheme there. Like it was like one of their main targets and they couldn't get it. So I'm assuming they're still trying to get agricultural land, settle in RSF members' families, you know, just try to take as much of Sudan as they can, all the while keeping it unstable so they can keep running out resources for free or for really cheap, you know, and sell them in the UAE for dirt cheap and make a bunch of money. So it's just money and instability, basically. Like that's what they're looking for.
Asdeep says the Colombian mercenary thing is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. The UAE is hiring them and then claiming that the presence. Oh my God. Oh no. Wait, that's so stupid.
Yeah, bro, they're literally on Twitter doing
Wait.
it.
Oh, that's what that's about? Oh my God, that's so
Yeah.
stupid. Oh my God, that's what I've been seeing on my timeline about Sudan. Oh my, about the UAE like on Sudan for working with cartels. Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Bro, they said in the last decade, 19 seizures, like drug seizures, have happened in Sudan. So that means Sudan is a Captagon hub of manufacturing. It literally makes zero sense, bro. Like they brought
And
in
they're also
Colombian
blaming it
mercenaries.
on like Muslim Brotherhood, right?
Yeah, that's what they keep saying. Like they because Hamas is technically Muslim, used to be Muslim Brotherhood, so they're trying to do a link now. Like they're like Hamas, the Houthis, Yemen, Iran, they're all working with the SAF and they're all terrorists, and that's why we're doing this.
I mean, the funny thing about the UAE propaganda is it's so dumb. I don't think anyone believes it. It's funny when like the UAE tries to do like Hasbara style like propaganda and like it just falls flat because no one has been indoctrinated into liking the UAE in the same way that Americans have been indoctrinated into liking Israel. Right? It's so stupid. When I saw that ad where it was like, and we'll probably pull it up after the call just to show chat the context of it. That was possibly the dumbest I've ever heard. And I've seen a lot of propaganda pieces. It is really, really stupid. RSF is hiring Colombian mercenaries, and then the UAE's guys are hiring Colombians, and they're
Yeah.
blaming it on the SAF, on the Sudanese government.
Bro, they'll come in, right? And they'll get into a battle with the SAF and they'll die. And the SAF soldier will pick up the passport and there's a big stamp that says UAE October 2024, for example. Like on their passport. Like these people are coming into the UAE. A lot of times because I don't know if you know, they hire a lot of Colombians to do security over there, like bodyguard work or whatever. So now they're just sending a bunch of those people in who are ex-Colombian military into Sudan, just like in waves, just to, you know,
Bro, they're just as incompetent as the IDF. Jesus Christ.
very dumb, bro.
Very,
You know
very
how they
stupid.
send weapons? Do you know how they send weapons into Sudan? It's so unbelievable, bro. It's just okay. So like, imagine like a humanitarian aid plane just full of boxes just to say UAE aid, right? That's what they say. One time they got opened in the airport in Uganda and it was just full of weapons. It's just a box that says aid and it's just full of guns and bombs and rockets and drones and all that kind of stuff. Even parts, they even found like parts for like the other SUVs that they sent them earlier that they needed to fix. They're like, here, man, we'll just send you the whole thing in an aid plane that nobody's ever gonna check for sure.
Boss, that's a Tom and Jerry skit. That's a Tom and Jerry bit. Literal cartoon bull. One question my chatter has. Yeah, it's aid. No, I mean, technically they're right. It's UAE aid. Technically it is. It's just military aid. Does Saudi have any stake in this? I'm guessing yes, they do. But
Okay, yeah, so at first they were helping the UAE, right? Like on the low, like they were like training RSF fighters in Saudi, like leading up to this, and there's like a whole bunch of other stuff. But it seems like so before they were like working together on the Yemen thing, which I'm pretty sure they still are, but it's like Saudi used to think the UAE was like mini Saudi, like it'll just go along with whatever they got going on, right? But they kind of started this Sudan thing and the Libya thing without Saudi involvement. So now it seems like Saudi's kind of more warming up towards the SAF. And the reason I know this because this is the craziest thing Saudi has ever done when it comes to Iran. They allowed the Iranians to get drones to Sudan using Saudi airspace.
okay, yeah, that means they've broken rank with the UAE, no question.
Yeah, bro. Like I don't think I think what it is from what I see, right, is that clearly the UAE is like strategically taking over the Red Sea from different areas, right? Like they're pushing for Somaliland to be recognized. Like if you go into any of those UAE propaganda accounts, they're like Somaliland is great. That's what independence and liberation means. Like they really want a piece of Somalia just to, run base of operations out of there. They already have one in Puntland and in Bosaso in the airport there. They have also in Somalia, they're like running like packages of weapons and stuff, and that's where they land, and that's where they bring in RSF fighters sometimes to get healed and stuff like that. I mean, if I was Saudi, I'd get concerned, right? Like that's multiple points already on the Red Sea that you're taking over. Like, it seems like you're kind of trying to take over the whole thing, and you're not involving me in it. If I was Saudi, so yeah, I would break rank too.
Exactly. So like on this one particular issue, they're like, all right, Iran, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, literally. Like,
Also,
I mean,
Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken, is also supporting the UAE and Somaliland, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
yeah, they are. They are.
Why Ethiopia is supporting the RSF, I don't understand. I have no idea why Ethiopia is doing it.
Because the UAE has done a tour, right? And they basically sent Hameti as their. I don't know if you remember, there was like a maybe end of 2023 or beginning of 2024. Hameti went on the Africa tour, and he basically just met with a bunch of African leaders, right?
Including
like, talk
Abiy
to them.
Ahmed, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the guesses that we have is that he was pitching them on what the UAE's offers were. Like, for example, for Chad, they got like 3 times their GDP in a loan, a loan, like that he doesn't have to give it back. They're bribing him, right? Kenya, same thing. Like it was like $3 billion or something like that they wanted to give them, right? And then they let the RSF come into Kenya and do their whole ceremony there in Nairobi. Same thing with Ethiopia. Like I don't know what he offered them, but I'm pretty sure that's why he's doing all this. Like they're just buying up the neighboring countries one by one, and they really, really try to lobby Egypt on it. And Egypt like isn't budging. They're like, yeah, no, we're gonna stay with the Sudanese army.
Well, I mean, I feel like Egypt has the most invested in the SAF by far.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, for sure.
Egypt is the last government that'll ever budge on Sudan.
I mean, that's like military dictatorship, like brothers. Like they've been doing this side by
Forever, yeah.
side for a
Like they're
long
not
time.
like, yeah, like
Like
you can't like LCC is like LCC, Hosni Mubarak, like DC, Hosni Mubarak. They've been tight with Sudan for a long time. Like not
yeah.
happening.
And that's how you know it's not really Muslim Brotherhood like they keep trying to claim, right?
Because isn't the
Because
Muslim Brotherhood big in Egypt? That's the thing. Like they're big in Egypt.
they're big in Egypt, but since Sisi took over, because the last president Morsi was Muslim Brotherhood, like it's banned. Like so many, the entire Muslim Brotherhood is in prison, like the political establishment, like the leadership and everything.
Okay,
And
yeah.
if
So they
you,
did they
yeah,
did throw
yeah,
everyone in jail. Okay. I thought they
yeah,
just threw
yeah.
Morsi in jail, but
No, no, it was like if you like support they like try to prescribe it basically. They're like, if you support the Muslim Brotherhood, like you're a terrorist, like da 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 da. That's why like the whole like massacre in that one square happened. It was like, anyways, yeah, it's but that just goes to show like if Sudan was really a Muslim Brotherhood run currently, I don't think Egypt would be messing with their ops like that. So it doesn't. I don't think it
it
makes a lot
doesn't
of
make any
sense.
sense. It's just
Yeah.
pure drivel and propaganda. So overall, what is the current situation in El Fasher, or how are the people doing right now?
I mean, it's just been a siege for like over a year, man. So it's definitely there's a lot of hunger, there's a lot of like malnourishment.
Famine
It's
as well.
getting
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting rough in some areas. Like we've been trying to push the like I don't know, like put pressure on them to like allow at least some like humanitarian aid to come in or whatever, but they really don't want to, and our stuff doesn't really have like they don't care about like PR or whatever because like they're not very bright. So they haven't even attempted to like make propaganda to be like the Israelis were like, no, look, we're like giving them food and stuff. Like no, they're just like, no, we're gonna stand here until you give up.
I think the reason that they don't give about propaganda is because like no one. I think you and Gaida have experienced this firsthand. There's a weird absolute reluctance to actually even talk about what is going on in Sudan, even among like the left in the United States. I feel like there just isn't like a huge. Again, obviously, like what Israel is doing to Palestinians in Gaza is horrific, and it is like obviously of paramount importance, right? But at the same time, like it's just like outside of that, there's just a weird reluctance to learn about anything or like try and listen to anyone outside of that sort of outside of that. And Sudanese, I've seen Sudanese people have gotten like a huge just like there's been a huge sort of resistance towards like let's just be honest, like white leftists giving about them. I'm gonna be honest. Like there's just been a
Yeah,
huge resistance.
yeah, for
And
sure.
so I feel like the reason that the RSF doesn't have to really focus on PR is that there isn't anyone focusing on them to begin with. And so they can be as like dumb and stupid as they want.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can be as dumb and stupid as they want because no one is paying attention. That's the truth. Sudan only gets brought up when an Israel supporter says it first. Yeah, and that's the worst part, right? When a Zionist literally brings up Sudan as a counter to why aren't you talking about Sudan? Why aren't you talking about Congo? I've seen a Zionist dude literally like he put Elam in his mouth or he put like Sri Lanka in his mouth, and I'm like, you gave your country was the largest supplier to Sri Lanka before China was. Shut the up. Like you literally trained the Sri Lankan police. Like, and you are like, you guys are twins. Like Israel and Sri Lanka are twins.
no, and you know it has a double effect too, of not just using people's like like suffering for your stupid Hasbara, but it also has the effect of now whenever people see Sudan, sometimes in the pro-Palestinian movement and in the especially white leftists, because like some of them are not exactly the most sensitive people to these issues, right?
Oh, I know.
Um,
Oh, I know. Trust me.
now they're calling me sometimes Zionist when I'm bringing up Sudan, or when I'm bringing up, like, for example, like if you remember when Lebanon was first being like invaded or by Israel in the last bout that they had. Like I was just posting about, hey, there's these African migrant women who work like maids and cleaning ladies and whatnot at people's houses, and for the rich Lebanese who left and they went to like the Gulf to escape the war, and now they're just stuck there. So like, you guys think we can raise some money for them or whatever, and like help them get out and whatnot, stuff like that. And they were just calling me all types of Zionists, all types of. They're like, the person, the people who mention like things to distract from Palestine or things to distract from this are Zionists. So like, are you a secret? Are you a collaborator? Are you trying to, or like when I'm talking about Sudan, they're like, you're always bringing up Sudan. Like, it's like you're trying to distract from Palestine. Like, what? You can walk and chew gum at the same time, bro. Like I can care
You're
about
trying
two
to
issues
distract
here.
from Palestine while you're also like, Sudanese people in your life, like that are affected by this directly. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
I really don't understand it, man. And it's just people have heard Sudan, South Sudan a few times in the last like couple of decades, so they just think, oh, well, there's always a war there, you know, like they had that one civil war and Darfur thing, so like they're always fighting each other. Like it'll be
it's the same thing whenever they talk about anything like in South Asia, Southeast Asia, or anything like that. They do the same thing. They're like, "Oh, you brown people always fight." Like, I don't understand. I don't know why you guys are fucking angry. It's like, no, but the other thing is like this, like everyone that I don't like is a secret Zionist talking point is penetrated itself against Rohingya people. You have like Malaysians and Indonesians literally saying like, oh, well, the Rohingya are Zionists or whatever. Dude, these people are literally stateless. What the fuck are you
right.
talking? They don't have citizenship of any country. Like they were made stateless by Myanmar. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
They just use it as a propaganda vehicle, which is crazy because like it used to be you didn't even want to be called an anti-Zionist just a few years ago because it was like you could lose everything, bro. You could lose your job, your career, wherever. But now it's like it's literally being used in the other way. Like it's like I've seen Indonesians like when you bring up West Papua sometimes like they'll
West
start sounding
Papua,
like
dude, Sri
Zionists.
Lankans
Like,
do this shit too. They call it Tamil Zionists. They call it,
yeah,
dude.
I saw
Hold on. There's a talking point I want to show you, which is absolutely nutty. Like I've shown you like what Sri Lanka has gotten away with, right? So you understand,
yeah,
like by the way, I want to give Abu Kittens a lot of credit. He's the only dude I've ever seen that is not of Tamil origin, that is not of like South Asian origin even, literally duking it out with Sinbuds in the comments. Yeah, that screenshot is a great example that I just sent you. That screenshot is a great example of like what Sri Lankans say about Tamils. They're like, oh, you can't compare the LTTE and Hamas. Like the Hamas is fighting for liberation, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And then the LTTE, no, they wanted to divide the country. It's like,
is that not the same argument that's used against Hamas and also like they sound like Zionists, man, but like for their own thing. Like when they talk, like
no, the
they'll
other
literally
thing
be
is
like,
like, so that's how a lot of like progressive Sri Lankans think about this. But then like Muslims in Sri Lanka, a lot of them, right? Not all of them, but a good chunk of them will automatically align themselves with the Palestinians because Palestinians are also majority Muslim. So they'll just be like, oh, of course
right.
we're the same as the Palestinians. What do you mean? Right? And it's the Tamils that are the evil Zionists. And it's like, that's not how that works. You can't just say like, oh, you're the same as another group of people that are suffering occupation and genocide just because you happen to share a religion. That's not how that works.
Also here saying, oh, Palestinians are fighting to regain their own lands. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought Tamil were doing the same thing. I must
No,
be
they
like,
don't think that. They think that Tamils are trying to create an ethno state, a Nazi ethno state, which that's what Zionists say about Palestinians. That's literally the
right,
same thing.
they're like they're gonna create an Islamo-fascist state like with Hamas at the top, and it's gonna be a theocracy dictatorship like Iran or whatever. Like that's yeah.
They've lived on that land for centuries. They're the same indigenous people that have lived on that land for centuries. They just got Tamilified over time. They just want to not be captured and tortured and by the Sri Lankan army. That's all they want. But yeah, this is how like all of these conflicts are like Palestine washed. There's a term for it. And a lot of people that are not really interested in like the actual liberation of all sorts of people, they will use Palestine as like this unique case of genocide, occupation, so on and so forth, right? And in many ways, there are lots of things that make that thing unique, right? That make the suffering and the struggle of the Palestinians unique. Right? Israel is unilaterally backed by the United States, which is like, and the US has been unrelenting in their support of Israel, where that hasn't existed for a lot of other countries.
Like it's unique, yes, and it's definitely unique at this moment, especially right because it's something that hasn't happened for a little minute now. But this has happened like a million times. Like the Palestine situation has happened exactly like it's happening today a million times before. Like the way the United States was formed, the way Australia was formed, the way Canada was formed.
In 2009, Elam, that's literally the same thing that we're
Yeah,
seeing now.
like it's happened over and over and over again. Except this time, I guess there's like videos, and this time I guess people have finally decided like, oh, okay, maybe this time we're gonna be on their side. But in every previous conflict, the general public was like how people are with Islam. Like they were like, no, Hamas are terrorists. These are not freedom of fighters. Like these people are, even some Muslims would be like, they're causing fitna. They're causing like division, and they're causing issues for no reason, and they're doing haram stuff and whatever. Like they were not enjoying this wide support before. It was only when Israel showed like the most open genocide and like the most televised genocide in like the history of the world is when people were like, oh well, you know, if I don't switch now, like I'm gonna look like a bad person, like at this point. And it's just like how, like when you look at the details of Ilam, like it's the same thing. Like it's the same thing, bro. It's they came in and they took these people's land, and they're settling in it, and they're continuing to settle in it, and they're using violence, and they're using intimidation tactics. And the same now in Sudan, if you're getting a teacher salary from the government, the RSF comes and locks you up because you're collaborating with the enemy in RSF controlled areas, right? In Elam, like if you're a journalist, or if you're a photographer who's taking pictures of the mass graves, or if you're making a blog post about it or anything, first of all, they're coming to you, they're interrogating you for hours. Maybe they might arrest you and your kid and your family and bring you guys all in and just hold you there for a couple of days. To like, they'll threaten you, they'll be like you got to stop doing this, like Sri Lankan police. Like they're running a bunch of cover-ups now, like even online, bro. Like Sri Lankans, like they know that what they did, like they know the crimes that they committed, and that's why they don't let Tamil people even get to the point where they can tell the world. Like y'all try to tell the world, and they will report your subreddits, and they'll report your Twitter accounts, and they'll try to like raid your streams and do a bunch of other stuff like to shut it down.
I almost got
Like they
banned
know
off
what
this platform because I tried to say that I was talking about the Tamil genocide when I was a much smaller streamer, and there was a Sinhalese guy that tried to report me to Twitch for terrorism. Yeah, r/Elam got banned like a while ago. Subreddit Elam subreddit got banned a while ago for being quote unquote hateful, which is like, okay. Someone tried to report me on Twitch for terrorism, which is like, I don't want genocide. Like I don't want the genocide to happen. Like I want the genocide, the Tamil genocide to stop. All right, that's all I was asking for. Thankfully, the folks over at Twitch were like, I don't get paid enough to care about Sri Lanka, so whatever. Right. They're like, I don't get paid enough to care about this island, whatever. Yeah, and the other thing is, a fellow streamer of mine, Jason D100, was basically setting up a Tamariram flag in Jaffna, right? And there were not just his community, but a bunch of other people were, you know, setting up different Elam flags in Colombo, right? In southern, in the Sri Lanka, in like Sri Lanka proper, like next to Sri Lanka, not just in occupied Elam, on W Place. Immediately, Sinbuds find out about that, and they start attacking almost immediately, and they create groups literally saying Elam. Because Sinbuds find out about this shit very quickly, and they're like, all right, we can't let people figure out what we did. Like every time I tell people about the Tamil genocide, they're like, how the have we let this happen? Some of the that the Sri Lankan government does to Tamil detainees is some of the wildest. Like there are instances of Sinhalese Buddhist nationalist cops quite literally urinating on prisoners and saying, if you want a free Elam state, you have to drink our urine. Like that kind of torture exists, right? And it's exactly as Karna says. Sri Lanka tries to market itself as an island paradise and a vacation hotspot. And when those hotels, those 5-star hotels are built on mass graves, turns out people don't want to visit when they realize that the hotels you've been marketing, this island paradise you've been marketing, is built on literally the bones of the people you've slaughtered and raped. White Western leftists portraying the genocide in Gaza as exceptional leads to woke genocide denial. Them saying you don't get it, it's different, and shows a clear lack of intersectionality and refusal to understand that all those genocides and conflicts are committed under the same system. You should be seeking a shared solidarity against all genocides and all forms of imperialism. I've been told by white people that are watching what is happening in Gaza that I don't understand what genocide is. You don't understand what Israel is doing. I'm like, what Israel's doing is exceptional. I'm like, are you sure about that? How much do you want to bet that I've never seen anything like what Israel is doing to Palestinians?
Do you think I'm pretty sure I don't think we've ever seen like bombing hospitals or like killing civilians or like disappearing people in white vans. That's only in Israel, right? We've never seen anything like that anywhere else, right?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that
On
anywhere
a
else.
record. Yeah, no, I
That's never
don't.
happened anywhere else, man.
Yeah, it's the first
Bombing
time.
hospitals has never happened. It's a uniquely Israel thing. Israel's the only country that's evil enough to bomb hospitals or herd people into hospitals and bomb them. Like that's the only country that has ever done that before. No one else has ever done it.
Oh, you think they're definitely the only country that does mass graves too, right? That's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean that's
Israel's
never
the
been
only country with mass graves. What do you mean?
yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
No, Israel's the only country that does that. No, 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 no. People want Gaza to be exceptional because it lets them hold on to the comforting lie that it's an aberration and the world is overall fine or trending in a good direction. This is it. Karna's 100% correct. It means acknowledging that Israel is not the only country that does up shit and realizing that the entire world, most countries are built on a bed of lies and rivers of blood. That's not a very comforting reality for a lot of people. It's not comforting at all. That's why like you have this situation where I mean mass graves in the USA, mass graves in Canada of indigenous people coming to grips with the reality that the world is a genuinely dark place. Kashmir, Baloch, Chittagong hill tracks, Rohingya people like
Nepal.
coming to grips with the fact that like states are ultimately just they're really bad. Also, they have to realize the extent of how evil the Western world is. No, it's also not just the Western world. That's what we're trying to say. It's not just the West. The global South is perfectly capable of being evil on their own, right? It's a weird thing. It's a weird noble savage kind of thing that I've heard from people where it's like, no, all of this is our fault, right? All of the that's happening in Sri Lanka is ultimately our fault. It's America's fault. It's this fault. Like, yeah, you guys are certainly involved. You have some level of complicity in it, but it's also like these guys are also like they're human beings. They're also capable of being up in the head. Like why is it so hard to acknowledge that?
Brown and black people can be evil too, bro. Just like
Yeah,
everybody else.
exactly. Like brown and black people are also perfectly capable of being evil. They're also human beings. Like, what do you mean?
To be honest, like thinking that they're all perfect and they're all just like, oh, I'm so good. Like I'm just always a victim. That's my entire all of us in the global south, the entire billions of people. It's so dehumanizing to me. And it's so like I've met people who when I brought up something, like I work with people from Gaza, right? And sometimes we might have an issue with somebody who might be working with more than one campaign or something like that. It rarely happens, but it happens, right? And they'll be like, oh, but they're from Gaza. Okay, like they can be bad. There can be bad people in Gaza. There can be bad people anywhere. Like, why do you think these people are perfect just because they live in a geographical location? Just because you're a victim doesn't mean you have to be a perfect victim for you to still, be like oppressed, right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any
Like people tend to think that everyone in the global south is just like victims or whatever. And it's like they have no capability to be on their own. And it's like everyone has material interests, right? Oh, the other thing I've noticed. Okay, so I want to go back to another point that I was saying. So one of the things that Sri Lankans love to do is there's a picture of Mahinda Rajapaksa, the
never have I ever actress.
no, that's Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. No,
Okay, you're talking about the journalist.
no. You're thinking of Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. First off, that's a very different. No, that's the no. Oh God, you're gonna feel so bad after I tell you who he is. Mahinda Rajapaksa is the Ben Netanyahu of Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Mahinda Rajapaksa took a picture with Abu Mazen, Mahmoud Abbas, right? And so Sri Lankans will literally take that picture of like, what was it? The Star of Palestine award, was it? They'll take the picture of him being awarded with the Star of Palestine and they'll be like, see, Mahinda Rajapaksa has always been pro-Palestine. You don't understand. Sri Lanka has always been pro-Palestine. See, Palestine loves us. They don't love you, Tamil mother. You guys are the Israel. Israel specifically developed a patrol boat based off of the Dabur class called the Devora class patrol boat, specifically designed for Sri Lanka's counterinsurgency operations against the LTTE. If that's not commitment, I don't know what that is. I don't know what is. It's called Devora class. That's what it's called. They developed a specific kind of patrol boat for Sri Lanka. But no, Tamils are the Zionists.
Abu Mazen Mahmoud Abbas is a Zionist, bro. He's a collaborator.
Yeah,
like that's not even a good example.
But Sri Lanka, no, but Sri Lankans don't know that. Sri Lankans don't know that nuance. They see a picture of Mahmoud Abbas, like, oh, Palestinian guy. See, Palestinian guy. They got independence, quote unquote, on the same year.
Yeah, 1948.
1948. Both Sri Lanka and Israel got independence on the same year. They're twins. They're genocidal twins.
No, like they've had Israelis come in to advise them so many times, like throughout the genocide, and then the day after, like they taught them how to deal with insurgents and how to fight resistance movements. Like they're like, oh, we've had a lot of experience with these Hamas guys and the PLO and stuff, so we'll tell you guys what we know.
From my perspective, it's interesting that Kashmiris get a slightly different treatment to either of these groups. Kashmiris are not called Zionists because they're obviously some of the strongest allies of Palestinians, always have been. They're not even usually called outsiders. Most Indian and Pakistani nationalists, Kashmiris might as well not exist. It's only when they take up arms against India do they get branded as agents of Pakistan. It's a subtly different kind of propaganda. I've seen like Indians literally be like, no, Pakistan is the Israel of the subcontinent, which I find very fascinating. I've seen like not Hindu nationalists, but like Indian civic nationalists literally say like Pakistan is like the Zionist entity of the subcontinent, because they frame it as like, oh, Pakistan wants a separate ethno state or whatever, a Muslim ethno state or whatever. Right? The thing I've noticed is that a lot of countries, a lot of states, a lot of genocidal states, they want to pretend to be Palestinians. They want to pretend to be Palestine, but they don't want the actual implication of what that is. They want to look like Palestine, but they don't want to be Palestine.
They want a noble cause. Like they want their thing to look like a noble cause. That's why, like, when you look at the whole thing with like love jihad or like this and that, like, where they try to frame it as we're being invaded and we're defending our country. The BJP line is that, like, we're being invaded and we're defending our country. Like, and they all want to make it look like it's this noble thing. Like, I'm just resisting against this invasion of my country, but it's really just Muslims existing. The person who said that they don't use the outsider thing, in the recent thing, I've actually seen them say that all Kashmiris are just Arabs who came and settled. That's their favorite one.
Yeah. No, that's actually like, actually, I kind of agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I've seen more recent rhetoric basically say like Kashmiris are just Pakistani transplants or whatever. Like they treat Kashmiri like Muslims as though like they're not from Kashmir at all. They just say they're like Pakistani, like not Arab, Central Asians. They say like, oh, they're Central Asian.
Because I saw the Arab one because they were saying, I saw like accounts, Indian accounts that were like, oh, look how white they are. Like nobody from the subcontinent looks this white. Like,
no way.
I swear to God, bro. And it's like, I know Pakistanis are that white. Like I know multiple who are that like pale as hell.
Lots of Pakistanis want to think that they're that white, but they're not. But that's a different story. Like,
I mean, like the subcontinent is so diverse, bro. Like there's so many different ethnic groups. Like, yeah, like some of them look different, bro.
Yeah, some of them look different. Some of them like you are white. You must be like Lebanese or shit. Like that's what they think.
I just feel like the world would be a slightly better place if everybody just understood that when Arab took over places, that they didn't replace the native populations, they just made them speak Arabic. Like in the Levant, right? Like Palestinians or Lebanese or whatever, like they act like Arabs came from Saudi Arabia and they settled there and they replaced the native population. When really what just happened is they just brought their culture and the language to the people who are already living there, and now they just speak it. Like I'm Moroccan, right? I'm North African. People always act like we are Middle Easterners who came and replaced some fantasy population that used to live there. But like, no, like we've been there. Like I have a DNA test, bro. Like I'm fully like Amazigh native North African, but a lot of people in my family speak Arabic now. Like that's just, it's just Arabization. Like it's a completely different process. But they try to make it look like it's colonialism so that they can push their narratives today. Like, oh, any place that became Muslim must have been the result of colonialism, so you are not native to this area. And I see that happen like all over in different like ethnic conflicts and whatnot.
Yeah, like it's the same thing with Tamils as well, right? It's the same thing with Elam Tamils, right? There's a overwhelming feeling or belief, even in Tamil Nadu, right? Thank you, Lesbian Hot Sauce, for the raid. Appreciate it. So Elam Tamils are the indigenous people of the island, right? But they, at some point, adopted the Tamil culture at some point. That's the thing that people don't understand. They are the same people that have been on that island for who knows how long. They've just adopted the Tamil culture because at some point, Tamil empires came and conquered that region and then they got Tamilified. That's it. They didn't, like, it's the same thing. It's not like they colonized the entire place and everyone from that region is all from Tamil Nadu or whatever. Yeah, the culture originally comes from Tamil Nadu. Yeah, sure. Those people got Tamilified later on. They got Tamilified over time. If you actually look at the majority, a good chunk of the Sinhalese population, they're not like the 3,000-year-old people that came from like West Bengal that came all the way down south or whatever. Good chunk of what we now consider to be Sinhalese people, are fucking South Indians. They came from South India like 200 years ago. They're not that old either.
I just think it's really funny that some people have some nerve, bro, to come like 70 years ago or 200 years ago or 300 years ago and come to the population that's been there for like 2,000 and be like, yo, get out. This is ours now. Yeah, we don't
I
like
agree. They're like, I agree. Like Bandar Naik, a great example. His ancestors Tamil. Like one of the most rabid Sinhalese Buddhist nationalists. His ancestor was Tamil at some point. That's how they that's how fluid populations are. But yeah, like, so is there any collaboration between like Sri Lanka and Sudan? I know they have like trade deals and whatnot, or like, I don't think they're involved with the RSF, are they?
No, they're not involved with the RSF, but Sri Lanka and the UAE, yeah, they're like this. And
Oh yeah, because
before
there's a lot of Sri Lankan workers in the UAE as well. There's a lot of like,
there are, and there's a lot of they've signed a lot of agreements. Recently they signed like a big trade thing with India and Sri Lanka and the UAE. And Sri Lanka also has a very like strong relationship now that they're building with Rwanda. Like they're building tourism with each other and a bunch of other stuff.
yeah,
And
someone told me that as well. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and you know, like you were saying, like Sri Lanka uses tourism to launder its crimes, right? That's how it covers them up. Like it turns itself into like like pearl of the Indian Ocean. Come look, it's so pretty, right? Like you might be standing on a few Tamil bodies, but that's fine. Don't think about that too much. Rwanda's doing the thing and is committing an on and off genocide for like 20 years in the Democratic Republic of Congo now. So it really is all connected. Like they're all working with each other. Like India is doing Kashmir and Sri Lanka is doing Elam and the
Pakistan
UAE
is
is
doing
doing,
Balochistan.
and I'm sure, like, if we looked into it, the Buddhists from Nepal and the Buddhists from Sri Lanka, I'm sure are like coordinating and doing stuff together.
I mean,
I'm
Myanmar
sure.
and Sri Lanka are tight.
Yeah, and that makes
Myanmar
sense
and Sri
'cause
Lanka are tight. Like I know that for a fact. Like the Buddhist nationalists in Sri Lanka and the Buddhist nationalists in Myanmar, they visited each other. What was it? I think it was 969. I think that was the name of the actual group. So the 969 movement has visited Ashin Wiratu and all these like psycho Buddhist nationalists. Like they've visited Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Buddhists, both Burmese, like Bamar people and Sinhalese people follow the exact same kind of Buddhism. There's two major schools of thought in Buddhism. There's Theravada and Mahayana. Mahayana is basically everyone else, like Tibet, Mongolia, Thailand, Laos, like those Buddhist countries, right? And the Buddhists in China, Japan, everyone else, they're all some form of Mahayana Buddhism, right? The two main Theravada Buddhist countries are Burma, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. They share the exact same school of thought in Buddhism, right? Now, that doesn't translate to violence or anything like that as far as I know it. But the reason that Myanmar and Sri Lanka are so tight is because there's a kinship among the nationalists of both countries. It's like I said at part 2 at the end of my documentary. It's not like we say like, oh, they're all connected, right? It's deeper than that in the sense of like they're trading notes with each other. Like Sri Lanka literally held a conference on how to engage in counterinsurgency, counterterrorism, quote unquote, as they call it. And they invited 40 countries. Israel obviously was one of them, but they've also invited like Kenya, Nigeria was a part of it. Yeah, I think Vietnam was also part of it. Malaysia was also a part of it. They invited Indonesia, obviously. They invited so many countries to that conference. China is a part of any of these stuff. Like China cares about China first and foremost. They don't give about anyone else.
China will pull up to anything, bro. If they can learn one thing from some conference, they'll show up to the genocide convention, we are committing genocide next year convention, and they'll have a seat. They'll be like, listen, we're not doing it. We just want to hear what you guys are saying, what you guys are throwing out. They show up to everything, bro. I be seeing them in the most random groups. Like it'll be like 6 African countries from like Central Africa and China. They'll
No,
just be
on
sitting
top of
in.
on top of that, like China literally helped the monarchists in Nepal crush the Maoists. The entire violence that started the Rohingya genocide, like genocidal violence that started in 2017 onwards, like 2018, like late 2010s. You know why that happened, right? It's because China wanted to build a port in Arakan state, and there were protests before that, right? There were protests saying this is going to cause ecological damage, right? Saying that what China is building here is going to cause ecological damage to Arakan, right? To Arakan state. There were protests from non-Rohingya people about this. But then 2 days later, rumor that false rumor that 2 Rohingya men raped a Burmese woman. And then everything that you saw with the kind of violence that the Tatmadaw did against the Rohingya people started. Ultimately, because Myanmar is in the Myanmar government is in cahoots with China, obviously. Myanmar wants to secure that deal for China, and so they weaponize fascism to secure that deal, that port.
Yeah, I know China says, oh, like we don't have an internationalism policy right now, like we're just focused on domestic. But
Yeah,
it
bullshit.
just seems like, bro, they don't hold any communist principles anymore. Like they, first of all, they haven't even slowed down trade with Israel whatsoever in this whole thing. Like you could at least do it performatively, right? Like some countries have done it performatively. Like you're not even trying to. Another thing about Sudan, RSF full of Chinese drones. Like that's the most drones that they use are the Chinese drones. I'm sure China's giving them to the UAE, but at this point, like everybody knows that the UAE, it's like an open secret in diplomacy circles that the UAE is doing this in Sudan. So you know if you're selling them more drones that it's gonna end up in Sudan. And yeah, like you said, they only look out for themselves, bro, because they'll do stuff, they'll build mines, and they're not very safe, and they'll collapse all the time. And like so many people have died because of that, like in Chinese-run mines in African countries. And I know they've definitely been behind. They've played both sides in different conflicts and stuff like that. Like people need to get over their delusion about China, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're just trade maxing. I'm sorry if you discuss this with Kittens, but am I right to be mega sus of the Brits' involvement in the Sudan peace process? What is
Oh,
Britain's involvement in the Sudan quote unquote peace process? What is
oh, so can we consider BBC UK state media, right? I think that's
It
pretty fair.
literally is. It literally
Okay,
is.
okay, okay. So BBC has been, just so you can have some context of what side they're on, right? Has been running cover for the UAE's involvement in the RSF thing and not wanting to mention it, or straight up just raiding journalists flats in the UK who are like trying to expose the UAE connection. So it seems like them and the UAE are in on it. They held a peace conference, okay? And didn't invite the Sudanese government. Like they invited everybody, including representatives from the UAE, including representatives from Saudi, including representatives from like Egypt, including like different countries. They also, I'm pretty sure they got somebody who represented the RSF as well, but nobody from the Sudanese government. Just to show them show you how unserious they are about peace. First of all, the UAE has been involved in almost every single peace process since this war started. So yeah, please be very suspicious of the Brits. Like they have an agenda. They're
BB, I
trying to
mean,
kill.
as a guy in my chat literally says, they literally whitewashed the Bengal famine. Like, of course, they're UK
Yeah.
state media. Like, of
Yeah.
course, they whitewashed that.
And this is why like I'm trying to, so quick plug, of what. So first thing is that
Abu
we've been
Huraira,
working
the
on
Abu Huraira Aid Network. No, we got you. Don't worry.
one, and then we've been working on a boycott against the UAE, not just for Sudan. They're involved in like 40 million things, and it just seems like a good idea, right? Moving forward, it's called like defund the UAE. It's like DFUAE. I could have worked better on the name, but that's the thing, right? So BBC actually was like forced to like mention that because Macklemore canceled his show in the UAE after we talked to his team for a couple months, and we convinced them to have him cancel his show as part of the boycott, right? And that's the first breakthrough that we made with BBC, where they had to like post like, Oh, Macklemore canceled show because of Sudan war, and then they had to go into detail in the article, like allegations against the UAE of doing blah 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 blah. So it just seems like that's one thing I'm trying to push a lot. Like, like obviously I know we're not gonna get to like BDS level anytime soon, right? But 9% of their GDP is like tourism. It'd be really good to like, make them bleed out money a little bit.
Very similar to Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah,
Most of Sri Lanka's boycotting Sri Lanka is very easy, very
yeah,
stupidly easy. Just don't
just don't
go.
go.
Just don't
Just
go.
don't
Very
go.
simple. Don't go. Do not go to Sri Lanka. Very simple. Even if you go, right, for whatever reason you have to go, right, don't stay at any hotels. Like try and find a local to stay with, right, if you can. Because half of the hotels, especially in Elam, are run directly by the army. And a good chunk of those hotels probably are built literally on mass graves. So you probably don't want to go to those hotels to begin with. Also, check where you get your green tea from, because a lot of your green tea is farmed off the backs of Malayaga Tamils, who are basically treated nearly like slaves in Sri Lanka. These are different from the Elam Tamils because these guys were indentured servants brought by the British who worked tea plantations. The Sinhalese Buddhist nationalists are such psychos that Malayaga Tamils are also like victims of the Tamil genocide as well. So they're also like, I know a Malayaga Tamil guy that was literally threatened by his Sinhalese friend saying like, we'll kill all you Kotis or whatever. Like he literally said that they'll slaughter all the Koti means tiger in Sinhalese. And this guy has nothing, he's not even from the same demographic of people as the Elam Tamils are. Is there tea sold pretty worldwide? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It like, if you've ever heard like Ceylon tea, anything like Ceylon or anything, that's Sri Lanka. So basically the UAE is the nexus of all of this. And any interaction with the UAE means helping the RSF basically at this point, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, they're losing a lot of mercenaries. They're losing a lot of weapons. They're losing a lot of like drones and vehicles that the SAF are capturing. So this is like a constant money flow that they need to keep up. And it really, in my opinion, I think it really would hurt them if they're losing money streams from other ways. Especially because it seems like they're trying to set up their like after the oil runs out plan. The UAE is like not a real state. It's kind of like Israel in the way that it was just established by Western nations. Like it's just Amman, like the country Amman, like the desert of Amman. They created the UAE on the desert of Amman because the Armeni socialists were about to overthrow the British and like win. So the Brits were like, okay, yeah, we can't have that. So they basically cut off one group of the socialists from the other group of the socialists by building the UAE in the middle and just used it as as a puppet
Wait,
state.
so Oman
They
is
just
on one side, the other side is what? Qatar? Is that what you're getting at? Or is it like,
let me recheck the map real quick, but I think basically what happened is that they were just trying to cut off. I don't know where the other group of the fighters were. Wait, hold up. So it's Saudi.
oh, so
So
Saudi socialists and Omani socialists were about to basically
yeah,
overthrow the British. Okay.
yeah, but the Armenis were like, I think the Armenis were, some of them were acting out of Saudi Arabia, like out of the border area there, because it was the border with Oman and Saudi back then. Not the UAE didn't exist. Like they literally just made it, and they made it to like they basically bought off anyone who was sympathetic to the revolution or whatever. They like bought him off with all the Gulf oil money, the Brits, and they're like, all right, listen, man, just like we'll keep you rich, just don't do anything, and basically just many socialists, and they weren't able to carry out the revolution.
Yep. And then they installed a bunch of different emirs, and that's
Yeah.
it. That was the end of it. They,
Yeah, now it's just like, you know what it is? It's like sub-imperialism. Like, so the US or Britain doesn't have to like call the UAE and be like, yo, hey man, can you like carry out this like long 15-year plan for us? But they'll do it because they see what's needed for the Western imperialist order, and they'll be like, okay, so it seems like Sudan is a threat now because they're revolting, and that's threatening the rest of the Arab world, which is all, Western puppets. So let's put an end to that, and also let's run their like let's expand our influence across the Red Sea. Let's take over parts of Africa. Let's do this, and it's all for the Western imperialist order. Like it's all benefiting them. They're like getting rid of their enemies for them, basically.
and also like, let's not even forget, like they fucking enslaved like people
Yeah,
like me, like brown people from the subcontinent, like they enslaved us. So
yeah, they should have been boycotted like from the beginning. Like I don't. The whole Abu Dhabi and Dubai were built on the backs of of brown people that they enslaved and that they tricked. Like they'll bring you over and be like, "Well, we have a really good job for you," and take your passport and leave you there. Like, yeah, it's really messed up.
Yeah, no, I have my family, my mom's side of the family used to work in Abu Dhabi, like at some point. So I've been there before, and it's extremely overrated. I do not recommend anyone go there.
I just feel like so I've been to Vegas. Just like
It's
I had like a
Vegas, literally Vegas.
yes, yeah, I had a 12-hour layover there and I saw it and yeah, very overrated as well. And I think that's what Dubai is. Like it's so artificial, you know?
It's like literally the worst part. It's literally the worst parts of U.S. urban planning. It's horrible. Like it's not good at all. It's like you've ever gone to like suburban hell in like upstate New York or like, bum like Maryland or whatever, or like bum Pennsylvania. That's basically like not it's like just outside of Philly, like the suburbs there. That's Dubai. That's Dubai. That's Sharjah. That's like Ras Al Khaimah. That's the same thing.
Think like the tackiest townhouses you've ever seen in your life, and they're painted all white or silver. And that's the UAE. Like
That's
that's what it's like. It's just one big townhouse community that they got over there.
yeah, is literally the worst. And like the what was it, Burj Khalifa, right?
You know,
Horrible in urban planning. There is like an entire line of trucks that have to go and clean the out of the Burj Khalifa because they don't have sewage next to it. They have to go and manually clean that up.
they just wanted it to look cool. They had no 15-year plan for how that was going to be, which seems like it's the case with them with a lot of things that they do.
That's okay, Arun. Have you had the viral Dubai chocolate? My mod is memeing. He knows about the Dubai chocolate propaganda. He's memeing about
Right.
that.
Yeah. Bro, okay. So like maybe this is because I hate them, right? And I got personal beef with them, but it just kind of looks like it. Like not like I don't mean like look like bad. I mean like looks like poop in a chocolate. Like why is it so green? And it just doesn't look appealing to me. Like if they're really trying to push this propaganda, like it's that and the Labubus, bro. I don't know what that second one's about, but I know the first one is like laundering.
Ruined kanafa and pistachios free. What? Wait, Dubai does kanafa? That's crazy.
They did Dubai chocolate kanafa. I saw that shit, bro.
Is okay, okay. Chocolate's not supposed to be in kanafa, is it?
No, it's kanafa's like cheese and like this like little spaghetti pieces kind of. I don't know how to explain it. It's like
Oh my god. So this is like what North Indians do, like chocolate dosa. Oh my god, that's disgusting. That is another war crime. Okay, I've never had kanafa before, but that sounds like North Indians doing some shit about putting chocolate in dosa. I'm like, dude, that's bullshit. That's complete bullshit.
missing out, man. You need to try kanafa for real. Like,
No. Not the kanafa, not regular kanafa, but like whatever the guy is doing with that. No, I want to try actual kanafa. I think there's like a Palestinian place close to where I live, and I want to like a legit Palestinian store owned by Palestinians, Palestinian restaurant, and I want to go check that out. I've never had
if you
Palestinian
get
food
it,
before.
make sure you eat the kanafa hot because it's really, really good and the cheese is really melty, bro. It's fire.
Okay, I
I
gotta
was
try.
actually just thinking about, I was just, because I keep going to this Bengali store next to me, and they keep having this like big tray of like gulab jamun where they're selling gulab jamun, right? And I really want some, but I'm trying to like stay a little, keep the weight off a little bit. But like, bro, I can't resist it. Like, I think I'm gonna crack today, and I think I'm gonna get it. To be honest.
Bro, you gotta find a Tamil restaurant near you and have Tamil food. You gotta
Yeah,
have
that's
that
the
shit.
next step,
You gotta have
bro,
that
for
shit,
sure.
man. Because Tamil food, it is the sleeper food of the subcontinent. I'm telling you, that is sleeper food. I've like given proper Tamil Nadu food to people, and their minds have exploded. They did not think that this kind of food was possible. That level of flavor was possible. Like there are some Indian restaurants that market themselves as Indian restaurants. They're not Indian restaurants. They're actually Tamil restaurants. The food there is amazing. It's actually good. It's like eating food back in Chennai or Karagudi or Madurai.
Okay, I'm looking right now, bro, because that sounds intriguing. I really want to try.
There's a guy called James Ray, Good Vibe Politic on Twitter. You probably seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I took him to a Tamil restaurant in Philadelphia. His
It's
head
fire.
exploded. Like he's like, I've never tasted this before. That's crazy. There's a thing in Tamil where like nang sumava, like, oh, you think we're nothing. Like you think our food is like nothing. You've probably heard of this thing called chicken 65. It's fried chicken. That's Tamil cuisine. Some of the best fried chicken you'll ever eat.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy because I literally just had chicken 65 the other day from a restaurant. So I need to lock in and have the full Tamil cuisine for
Tamil
sure.
Nadu yeah,
So,
if you ever go to Canada, there's you get Elam Tamil food there. There's like Jaffna fries and all sorts of cool stuff, and like I want to have some Sudanese food at some point.
yeah, bro, definitely should. Bro, it's
Dude, I
fire.
want to have some Sudanese food. I want to have some Moroccan food. I want to have Palestinian food. That shit bangs.
I'm actually about to. I'm probably, hopefully, if things work out, I'm about to go to Canada soon. If I do, then I'm definitely gonna try specifically Elam food. Like that sounds heat, bro.
Can't you go to Toronto and you get shit because there's like lots of Elam Tamil food there. There's lots of Elam Tamils there. Toronto
There's a lot of
GTA
them
is
in Ontario.
yeah, Toronto, Ontario. They have the largest Elam Tamil diaspora of any area. So like outside of India, which is like they have like 100,000 refugees living in horrible like situation or whatever. The largest Elam Tamil diaspora of any country lives in Toronto, GTA, Greater Toronto Area. Like you go to Scarborough, Ontario, easy, done, you get it. Wait, is Ras Al Hanout a Moroccan spice mix, and why is it so good?
Is it Moroccan? Is
Yeah,
that the question?
yeah.
Yeah, it is Moroccan. And I don't know why it's so good, but it's that's definitely like one of our best thing. We use it for something called rfisa, which is like we have this kind of bread. It's called msemen, and we cut it up, and it's like chicken, and we have to use ras al hanout with it. It's so fire, bro. Like we have ras al hanout, that's like the mix, and then we have harissa, which is like this red sauce. We like to do it like sardine sandwiches or like something like that. It's really fire. Here, yeah, it's good here. In Morocco, like if I stay there for like 5 years, bro, like I might gain 300 pounds. Like seriously, like it's just such good food, bro. Like it's probably some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
It's the
Like when
same
you go
thing
to the
in
store.
Chennai. If I stay in Chennai for too long, I'll get fat. I'm already super
Yeah,
fat.
literally, like bro, like they do like 3 meals a day. Like it's like so much food, bro. They love like lamb and meat and stuff like that. Like it's so heavy, but it's delicious.
Tamil's also, I mean, in Jaffna in particular, there's actually like they have something called Nandikari. Ila Tamils have this thing called Nandikari. I mean, it's also in Tamil Nadu, but it's not as like you have like it's crab curry basically. You have crab curry in Elam Tamil cuisine is like very it's more heavily seafood based than Tamil Nadu cuisine is, which is more like land animal based. It's more like goat based, like chicken based, that sort of thing. Elam Tamil cuisine is like very, very, very heavily seafood based. They have like all kinds of like seafood curry. They have like mean curry, which is like fish curry, right? All kinds of fish curry. And this crab is intact. You have to use your teeth to break it open. It's the food of Elam Tamil cuisine is actually quite similar to Kerala, and it makes sense because the people of Kerala, Malayalis, they used to be Tamils at one point. They also were Tamils. They were also considered Tamils. So it makes sense. The Malayalis and Elam Tamils are our brothers, basically. Okay, quick question. I look up Tamil food near me, and all the results say Indian or South Indian. Are they legit? You have to look at the menu because you will never see Tamil food in America. You'll never see like a restaurant that markets itself as Tamil food. You have to look at the menu and look for stuff like chicken 65, mutton chukka, that sort of thing. You have to, or parota, like you have to look at that sort of thing and go for that. If it says South Indian, it's a pretty safe bet. It's legit. But if it just says Indian, then you have to look at the menu. Anything else you want to say? You want to talk about anything else, or you can, however long you want to say. You know, Mikasa is Sukasa. So
I just wanted to wrap up real quick with I hope more people talk about Sudan and especially talk about the UAE connection to the RSF there. You know, it's very important. We have a website that I run that I coded called SudanFunds.com that has a bunch of different campaigns for people in Sudan that we verify and like constantly update. So if you're ever looking for anybody to donate to, or if you ever want to promote it or whatnot, like anyone in the chat or anybody watching, that'd be amazing. You know, of course, Double Hooray Aid Network again. Yeah, I really want to thank you for having me on. And I want to thank everybody for listening and engaging and everything. You have like a really fire chat. Like they actually, they don't just be around too. Like they'll like, be talking to you about the stuff you're talking about. So that's dope. Yeah, and I really enjoyed being on, man.
Yeah, no
You know,
problem, man. Dude, always welcome. Whenever you wanna come on, just shoot a text and I'll have you and I'll make time for you. Don't worry about it. I said this to my guest yesterday, Alka, who was calling out of Chennai. I was like, if you ever want to come on, just shoot me a text, shoot me a message. I'll have you on. I'll make time for you. Don't worry about it.
fire, bro.
I value your perspective. I value everything that you say. And so I want to make sure that your voice is heard. Like, I don't have a huge audience. Like, I have like 150 people, which is like, in the grand scheme of like Twitch, it's a relatively big audience. Like, 150 people is no joke, but it could be much bigger. It could be much
No,
bigger, in
that's
my
a
opinion.
lot, bro.
What?
I couldn't pull 15. If I grinded for the next 6 months, I don't think I could pull 15 people in my stream. 150 is like for Twitch, bro. Like that's a significant amount to me.
No,
I
I
know
know
obviously
it
you can
is,
always
but
yeah.
I'm ambitious. So
Well, you're
I
on the come up.
what's up?
You're on the come up, bro. You're on the come up.
Yeah,
Like I
hopefully,
see
man.
you. Like you're
Inshallah,
coming up,
man.
bro.
Inshallah, man. We'll get there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, man. We'll get there. Inshallah, we'll get 5,000 people listening to your perspective, 10,000 people listening to your perspective on.
I will spread the gospel of Arun to the masses, so they could tap in because this is a good stream. Like,
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
there's-
I the past 2 weeks have been my best streams. Had Yasminullah on to educate my audience about Rohingya genocide. I learned a lot, and now I've begun to connect both Sri Lanka and Myanmar and the struggles of the Rohingya and the Elam Tamils. Now I'm connecting the struggle of the Sudanese people, the Sudanese, with the Elam Tamils as well. And so we're all in this together, man, obviously.
it's a bunch of smaller fights, but all in all, it's just one big fight that we all have to fight together and stick with each other, and
Haiti
that's
as
how
well.
we.
We gotta like I've like Haiti. Like we've also like neglected to talk about Haiti, who's also been affected directly by Sri Lankan peacekeeping forces, right?
Yeah,
Directly
yeah, yeah,
affected by Sri Lanka as well. They ran a child sex trafficking ring out of Haiti and got away with it.
yeah. No Sri Lankan officer has been prosecuted for that whatsoever. Like not one, like not even like a court case or anything. Like I'm talking, they were bribing and bringing in poor children who are Haitian. Like I'm talking about 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds and bringing them onto base where they were supposed to be a peacekeeping force in Haiti and assaulting them repeatedly. When it came out, it was like a public thing. You could look it up. It's on the news, right? When they came back to Sri Lanka, nothing happened.
Yep.
And this is something that they've done to Tamil children as well. There's like a huge report that Arun showed me that's very, very disturbing of the things that they've done to Tamil boys and girls. And when you come into a culture like that, like the IPKF, when the Indian peacekeeping forces came in, the Sri Lankans already had a culture of this assaulting and everything like that, and they just came in and started doing it with them.
Which is why Kashmiris are also surprised when I like have the perspective that I do on Kashmir, because like because most Indians are incapable of believing that their army are their army has awful people in it and their army is awful. They're incapable of like believing that. I'm like, I've seen what the Indian army is capable of. None of what they do in Kashmir surprises me. None of what they do to Kashmiris surprises me whatsoever. None of what they do. I've seen what they've done to Elam Tamils. It's an entire, like, there's a Wikipedia page dedicated just to the sexual violence that the Sri Lankan forces, the Sri Lankan security forces have committed. But again, you just got to keep fighting and people will eventually like get it. And you just got to keep being an asshole. And that's it.
Yeah.
One day Sudan will be free. One day Elam will be free. And when that day happens, both of us will be sharing Sudani food, Palestinian. Well, one day Palestine will also be free as well, right? And once Palestine is free, Sudan is free, Elam is free, all these people, everyone is free. We'll be sharing our foods at the table. We'll all be enjoying ourselves,
having
man.
a big cookout, bro.
One giant cookout.
Everybody's invited. We throwing meat on the grill. I'm cooking a cow. I don't care. If not a cow, then I'll got the vegetarian option too. Like we'll bring in the impossible meat. Like everybody's eating, bro.
Yeah, everyone's fucking eating.
It's gonna be a good time.
For sure, man, for sure, 100%. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah,
Solidarity
thank you for
forever.
having
Free
me. Man.
Sudan, free
Free
Palestine,
Sudan,
free
free
Elam,
Palestine, free Elam, bro.
free Elam, until the end of time. All right,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Take
All
it
right,
easy,
man.
brother.
Thank you for having me on, brother.
Anytime, anytime. Someone someone spam the Abu Herrera network in chat right now. One of the mods do it right now. Keep it pinned. If no one
Thank you.
has it pinned, keep it in right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a good one, brother.
You too.
Y'all, the rest of y'all have a good one too.
See you.
Okay. Catch y'all later. See you.
Bye.